Ethan Cole lived a simple life on Meridian Station. The station floated at the edge of human space, far from Earth and far from anything important. It was old, noisy, and always smelled of metal and recycled air. Ethan liked it that way. Important places attracted important people, and important people attracted trouble. Ethan was a maintenance technician. He fixed broken doors, power relays, air filters, and sometimes things he did not fully understand. He was good with his hands and patient with machines. Machines followed rules. Machines did not lie or judge. After work, Ethan often walked through the lower market decks. The market was a strange place where humans and aliens traded goods that made little sense. There were glowing crystals, liquid metals, foods that moved, and tools from civilizations Ethan had never heard of. He never bought much. He did not earn enough credits to waste. That day had been long. A power failure in the habitat ring had kept him awake for 16 hours. His back hurt, his head ached, and all he wanted was sleep. Still, he walked through the market, more out of habit than interest. That was when he saw the ring. It sat on a small cloth at a quiet stall, far from the loud sellers and flashing signs. The vendor was not human. The alien was thin, gray-skinned, with long fingers and eyes like dark glass. It did not call out or try to sell anything. It simply sat and waited. The ring looked simple. It was made of dull silver metal, smooth and unmarked. No lights, no symbols, no moving parts. It looked almost boring compared to everything else in the market. Ethan stopped walking. He did not know why. The ring just felt right, like it belonged on his hand. "How much?" Ethan asked. The alien slowly lifted its head and looked at him. Its eyes focused on Ethan's face, then moved to his hands, then back to his eyes. It was silent for a long moment. "For you," the alien said at last, its voice soft and careful. "1 credit." Ethan frowned. 1 credit was almost nothing. That alone made him suspicious. "Is it broken?" Ethan asked. The alien's lips moved slightly. It might have been a smile. "No." Ethan hesitated, then reached into his pocket and handed over a credit chip. He picked up the ring. It was warm, even though the market air was cool. Without thinking, he slid it onto his finger. The world did not explode. There was no flash of light or loud sound. Nothing dramatic happened. Ethan felt a brief warmth spread from his hand to his chest, like the feeling after taking a deep breath. Then it faded. He shrugged. "Thanks," he said. The alien vendor watched him leave. As Ethan walked away, he did not see the alien quietly pack up the stall and disappear into the crowd. That night, Ethan dreamed. He dreamed of stars he had never seen and voices speaking a language he did not know but somehow understood. He dreamed of standing before tall figures made of light and shadow. He dreamed of promises made long ago, during wars that burned entire systems. When he woke up, his heart was racing. His hand hurt. The ring was still there. Ethan tried to pull it off. It did not move. He frowned and tried again, twisting harder. The ring stayed in place as if it had grown into his skin. There was no pain, no swelling, just resistance. "That's not good," he muttered. He ran a scanner over his hand. The station-issued medical tool showed nothing wrong. No foreign material inside his body, no energy spikes. According to the scanner, the ring was just a normal piece of metal. Ethan went to work anyway. He had no time for weird dreams and stuck jewelry. By midday, the station alarm sounded. This was rare. Meridian Station avoided attention. It was too small and unimportant for pirates or military fleets. "Unknown vessel approaching," the announcement said. "All personnel remain calm." Ethan looked up from the open panel he was repairing. Around him, people stopped and listened. "Unknown vessel requesting docking permission," the voice continued. That was even stranger. Minutes later, armed security teams rushed through the corridors. Ethan followed the crowd toward the central observation deck. Through the thick glass, he saw the ship. It was not human. The vessel was long and smooth, shaped like a blade. Its surface shimmered with colors that changed as it moved. Symbols glowed along its side, symbols that made Ethan's head ache when he tried to focus on them. The ship docked without assistance. The doors opened. She walked out. The alien woman was tall, taller than most humans. Her skin was pale blue, almost white, and her eyes shone like polished steel. She wore dark armor that looked grown rather than built, fitted perfectly to her form. Every movement was controlled and calm. The entire room fell silent. She looked around once, then her eyes locked onto Ethan. His chest tightened. She walked straight toward him, ignoring the guards who raised their weapons. "Lower your arms," she said, her voice clear and strong. "I am not your enemy." No one moved. Her gaze never left Ethan. "You," she said, stopping in front of him. "You wear the bond." Ethan swallowed. "I what?" She reached out and gently took his hand. The ring glowed softly, a pale blue light that matched her eyes. Gasps spread through the crowd. "It is active," she said quietly. After all this time, security finally reacted. Weapons powered up. Orders were shouted. She released Ethan's hand and turned slowly. "Stand down," she said. "By ancient law, this human is under my protection." "Lady, you need to step away from the civilian," the security chief said. She ignored him. She looked back at Ethan, her expression unreadable. "My name is Saris of the Keltari," she said. "By the bond you wear, you are my chosen mate." The room exploded into noise. Ethan's brain stopped working. "You're what?" Saris tilted her head slightly. "Your species has a word," she said. "Husband." Ethan laughed once, short and nervous. "That's not funny." "I am not joking," Saris replied. Before anyone could say more, the station shook. Explosions rocked the outer hull. Lights flickered. Alarms screamed. "Multiple hostile ships incoming," the announcement shouted. "This is not a drill." Saris turned sharply toward the viewport, her jaw tightened. "They have followed me," she said. Ethan stared at her. "Who has?" She looked back at him. "Those who believe you should not exist." Another blast hit the station. Part of the observation deck ceiling cracked. Panic spread. People ran. Sarah stepped closer to Ethan and placed a hand over the ring. "The bond will protect you," she said. "But only if you do not resist it." "I don't even know what it does," Ethan shouted. "Neither did I," Sarah said calmly, "when I was bound." A section of the wall blew inward. Smoke and debris filled the room. Through the hole, armored figures poured in. They were alien, tall and sharp-featured, carrying weapons that hummed with deadly energy. "Target confirmed," one of them said. "Eliminate the human." Saris moved instantly. She stepped in front of Ethan, her armor glowing. Energy barriers formed around her. The attackers fired. The shots struck the barrier and scattered like sparks. Saris fought like a storm. She moved with speed and precision, striking down enemies before they could react. Still, there were too many. Ethan backed away, heart pounding. He tripped and fell hard against the floor. One of the attackers turned toward him and raised its weapon. Ethan lifted his hands without thinking. The ring burned. A wave of force burst outward. The attacker was thrown back, crashing into the wall. Everyone froze. Ethan stared at his hand, breathing hard. "I did that." Saris looked at him with surprise and something like pride. "Yes," she said, "you did." More enemies poured in. Saris grabbed Ethan's arm. "We must move now." They ran through smoke-filled corridors. Explosions echoed behind them. Station defenses fired wildly, but they were outmatched. They reached a sealed maintenance passage. Ethan slapped his access code into the panel. The door opened. Inside, the noise faded. Ethan leaned against the wall, shaking. "This can't be real," he whispered. Saris watched him closely. "It is real," she said, "and because of you, everything is changing." Outside, the station burned. And the ring on Ethan's hand continued to glow. The maintenance passage was narrow and dark, lit only by emergency lights that flickered as the station shook. Ethan's breath came fast and uneven. His hands would not stop shaking. The sound of distant explosions echoed through the metal walls, each one making his chest tighten. Sarah stood close to him, alert and calm, as if chaos was normal for her. Her eyes glowed faintly in the low light. She listened, her head tilted slightly, sensing things Ethan could not. "They are searching," she said. "They will seal sections and hunt us." Ethan swallowed. "Who are they? Why do they want me dead? I didn't do anything." Saris looked at him. "You exist," she said. "That is enough for them?" She moved down the passage. Ethan followed without thinking. He trusted her more than he trusted his own understanding of reality. They reached a junction where several tunnels met. One led toward the reactor section, another toward cargo bays, and a third toward the old residential ring that had been mostly abandoned. Saris paused. "Which way?" she asked. Ethan blinked. "You're asking me?" "Yes," she replied. "You know this station." That surprised him. Powerful alien warrior or not, she was letting him choose. "Cargo bays," Ethan said after a moment. "There are old escape pods there. Most don't work, but some might." Saris nodded. "Lead." They moved fast. Twice they had to hide as armored figures passed nearby. The enemies moved with cold purpose, scanning, marking, coordinating. Ethan could feel the ring grow warm each time they came close, as if warning him. At one point, a drone floated into the passage ahead of them. Its sensors glowed red. Ethan froze. Before Saris could move, the ring pulsed. The drone malfunctioned. Sparks flew from its surface and it dropped to the floor, dead. Ethan stared at it. I didn't even think. The bond responds to danger, Saris said. But it is changing. It responds to you. They reached the cargo bay entrance. The doors were sealed. Power was unstable. Ethan rushed to the control panel and opened it. Come on, he muttered. The station shook violently. A warning light flashed red. Saris placed a hand on the door. Her armor shifted, glowing brighter. The metal groaned, then slowly slid open. Inside, the cargo bay was massive and mostly empty. Crates floated in zero gravity. Along one wall, old escape pods were locked into launch frames. Ethan moved quickly, scanning for power. Most of these haven't been used in years, he said. If we're lucky, one will start. They did not have much time. The attackers entered the bay from the opposite side. Their weapons hummed. Sarah stepped forward, her posture steady. Stay behind me. I can help, Ethan said, though his voice shook. You will, Sarah said, just not like this. She raised her arms. Energy formed around her, stronger than before. She charged forward, meeting the attackers head-on. The fight was violent and fast. Blasts lit the bay with flashes of light. Ethan forced himself to focus. He ran to the nearest pod and opened the panel. Power was dead. Of course, he groaned. The ring warmed again, stronger this time. Ethan hesitated, then placed his hand on the pod's control system. Please work, he whispered. The systems flickered. Ancient circuits responded. Power flowed where it should not have been possible. The pod came alive. Ethan's eyes widened. Saris, this one works. She fought her way back to him, armor scarred but intact. Good, get inside. What about you? She glanced at the growing number of enemies. I will cover you. No, Ethan said firmly. We go together. She studied him for a brief moment, then nodded. They climbed into the pod. Ethan sealed the hatch and initiated launch. Alarms blared. Manual override, he said, fingers flying. 3, 2, the pod launched just as enemy fire struck its hull. The pod shot into space, spinning wildly. Ethan fought the controls, sweating, teeth clenched. Stabilizers are old, he said. Hold on. Saris braced herself, then reached over and placed her hand on his. Together they steadied the controls. The ring glowed and the pod stabilized. Silence followed. Stars filled the viewport. Ethan let out a long breath and slumped back. We're alive. For now, Sarah said. Behind them, Meridian Station burned. Fires spread across its surface. Small ships fled in every direction. Ethan watched his home disappear. Guilt settled heavy in his chest. They came because of me? Yes, Sarah said honestly, but they would have come for others eventually. The bond's return threatens many powers. She turned to face him fully. You must understand what you carry. I didn't ask for it, Ethan said. Neither did I, Saris replied. I was chosen as a guardian when I was young. The bond was created long ago by a species called the Aurelian. They faced extinction and believed unity was the only path to survival. They forged bonds that could link different species together. And I just bought it, Ethan said bitterly. The bond chooses, Saris said. Not markets, not money. The pod's sensors beeped. Multiple ships appeared on the screen. They found us, Ethan said quietly. Saris's expression hardened. Then we go somewhere they cannot follow easily. Where? She hesitated. My people's space. Ethan stared. Your people think I shouldn't exist. Some do, she admitted. Others will listen, and they will not kill a bonded human without trial. That's not comforting, she almost smiled. The journey took days. The pod barely held together. Ethan worked constantly, fixing leaks, rerouting power, sleeping in short bursts. Saris watched him closely. You do not stop, she said once. Machines don't care if you're tired, Ethan replied. If you stop, they break. And people, they break too, he said softly. They just hide it better. When they finally arrived in Keltari space, massive structures surrounded them. Ships moved with strict order. Weapons locked onto the pod immediately. Identify, a voice commanded. Saris spoke in her language. The response was instant. The pod was escorted to a large station carved from dark stone and metal. Ethan was taken into a chamber surrounded by tall figures. Keltari elders watched him with cold eyes. A human, one said. Wearing the bond. An insult, another said. A mistake. Sarah stood beside Ethan. He is not a mistake, she said. He has already activated aspects of the bond no one has seen in centuries. Ethan felt very small. They tested him. They asked questions. They observed his reactions. They brought machines that reacted strangely in his presence. Systems stabilized when he touched them. Energy flows became smoother. "This should not be possible," one elder said. "He does not command the bond," Saris replied. "He cooperates with it." Days passed. Ethan was confined but not harmed. Saris visited when she could. "You could leave me," Ethan said once. "They'd stop hunting you." "I will not," Saris said. "The bond is not a chain, it is a promise." Finally, an alarm echoed through the station. Enemy fleets had arrived at the edge of Keltari space. "They want the humans surrendered," a commander said, "or they will attack." The elders argued. Some wanted to give Ethan up. Others feared what would happen if they did. Ethan listened quietly. He stepped forward. "I will go," he said. Saris turned sharply. "No, if I don't," Ethan said, "they'll destroy everything to get me. I won't be the reason more people die." The chamber fell silent. One elder studied him. "You would sacrifice yourself." Ethan nodded. "That's what humans do. We protect what we care about even when we're scared." The ring pulsed. Energy spread through the chamber, gentle but powerful. The elders felt it. "This human," one said slowly, "is different." Outside, the enemy fleet prepared to strike. Inside, a decision was made. And for the first time, the galaxy hesitated, not because of fear, but because of a human who refused to run. The silence inside the chamber felt heavier than the vacuum of space. The Keltari elders stood in a wide circle, their tall forms unmoving, their eyes fixed on Ethan. Outside the station, enemy fleets gathered like dark clouds, waiting for a single decision. Saris stepped closer to Ethan. Her voice was low but firm. "You will not go alone." Ethan looked at her. "I don't want more people dying because of me." "They will die anyway," she replied, "if fear decides this." The eldest of the council raised a hand. "The bond reacts to his will," the elder said slowly. "This human does not seek power, he seeks responsibility." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Another elder spoke. "If we surrender him, we confirm our weakness. If we defend him, we invite war." Ethan took a breath. His heart pounded, but his voice was steady. "I don't know your laws, I don't know your history. But where I come from, we don't give people away just to feel safe for one more day." The ring pulsed softly, its light spreading across the floor like water. The elders felt it again. Not force, not command, connection. "The enemy demands the bond," the eldest said. "They believe it should never belong to a human." Saris lifted her chin. "Then they will learn what humans truly are." A decision was made. The station shifted from defense to readiness. Keltari ships powered up, moving into formation. Energy shields flared to life. Across space, the enemy fleet advanced. Ethan was escorted to a command deck overlooking the battle. He felt very out of place among warriors and commanders, but no one pushed him away. Saris stood beside him. "The bond will respond when the moment is right," she said. "I don't know how to fight like you," Ethan replied. "You fight differently," she said. "That is why the bond chose you." The first shots were fired. Space lit up with energy beams and explosions. Ships moved in complex patterns, attacking and defending at the same time. The enemy fleet was larger, more aggressive, designed for conquest. Keltari ships held the line, but slowly they were pushed back. "They are stronger," a commander said. "They will break our shields." Ethan watched systems overload and crews struggle. He felt something twist inside him. Fear, yes, but also anger, not violent anger, protective anger. He stepped forward. "What if the bond could do more than protect me?" he asked. Saris looked at him sharply. "What do you mean?" "I don't control it," Ethan said. "But it reacts to connection, to cooperation. What if we let it connect everyone who's willing?" The commanders stared at him. "That is impossible," one said. "It was impossible for me to power an escape pod," Ethan replied. "Yet I did." The ring grew warm, not painful, inviting. Saris closed her eyes for a moment, then nodded. "Try." Ethan placed both hands on the command console. He focused not on power, but on people, on engineers fixing damage, on pilots risking their lives, on fear and hope mixed together. "I don't want control," he whispered. "I want understanding," the bond responded. Light spread outward from Ethan, flowing through the station into the ships, touching minds gently. No commands, no orders, just awareness. Pilots suddenly felt each other's intentions. Engineers sensed problems before alarms sounded. Ships moved with smoother coordination, like parts of a single living system. "What is happening?" a commander asked, stunned. "We're working together," another replied. "Perfectly." The enemy fleet hesitated. Their attacks became less effective, traps failed. Ambushes were predicted before they formed. "This is not domination," Saris said softly. "This is unity." The enemy leader opened a channel. "What have you done, human?" the voice demanded. Ethan stepped forward, his image transmitted across space. He looked small compared to fleets and weapons, but his voice was clear. "I didn't steal anything," he said. "I was chosen, not because I'm strong, but because I listen." "You are unworthy," the enemy leader spat. "Maybe," Ethan replied, "but I'm here and I'm not alone." The bond's light expanded further, reaching beyond Keltari ships. Some enemy vessels reacted, systems stabilizing, weapons refusing to fire. Confusion spread among their ranks. "They are interfering with our control systems," someone shouted. "No," the leader realized. "They are offering connection." Some enemy ships withdrew, others powered down, the battle slowed, then stopped. Silence returned to space. Ethan staggered, suddenly exhausted. Saris caught him before he fell. "You did it," she said. "No," Ethan whispered. "We did." The enemy fleet retreated, not in defeat but in uncertainty. In the days that followed, the galaxy changed. Word spread fast. A human bonded to ancient alien power, not to rule but to unite. Species that had never trusted each other began to talk. Old wars paused. New alliances formed. The Keltari Council formally recognized Ethan as a bonded partner, equal in standing to Saris, not because of the ring but because of his choices. "You are no longer a guest," the eldest elder told him. "You are family." Ethan did not know how to respond. He just nodded, overwhelmed. Saris stood beside him, no longer as protector but as partner. "Do you regret buying the ring?" she asked later as they watched stars drift past a viewport. Ethan smiled faintly. "I was just tired and curious. I wanted something simple." "The bond is never simple," Sarah said. "No," Ethan agreed, "but it's worth it." He looked at the ring on his hand. It was still plain, still unmarked. But now, when it glowed, it felt like home. Far across the galaxy, ancient systems awakened, not weapons, not defenses, paths. Humanity was no longer watching the stars from the outside. They were part of them. And it all began with a simple ring, bought by a tired human who chose connection over fear.